Today we are going to learn more about mental health, the issues, the ways to survive, and the ways to overcome this phenomenon. Marziya, could you please introduce yourself and what do you do for business?
Hello, everyone. My name is Marziya Shaikh, and I work as a teacher, but I have a hobby which is learning and teaching about mental health. And I attend several workshops and I meet psychologists. I try to understand it as much as possible. And recently, I have started a YouTube channel, which is the name is Unconditionally Content. So it means that no matter what happens in your life, you are at peace and you are happy. And that is my life goal, to be unconditionally content and to help others become the same. I also have a Facebook page and an Instagram blog by the same name.
How would you
So that
define?
is
Yeah,
what
go
I
ahead.
like to do.
Yeah, that is more than important,
That is what I
especially
like to
now.
do, and I would like to, yeah, it is important. And I got interested in this because when I was younger, I did not realize the importance of mental health, and I went through a lot of trouble. I learned it the difficult way, but now I'm completely absorbed by it and amazed by it.
The first question is, how would you define mental health?
So, mental health is how you feel on the inside in your mind. Mental health has to do with your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, your cognition. Physical health has to do with your body, with your organs, your bones, everything in the physique. But mental health is how you're feeling on the inside, your mind. If is it healthy or is it unhealthy? And there can be things which make it unhealthy, and that is the entire field of mental health and the study of mental illnesses.
What are the issues in mental health?
So mental health issues are, there's a range of issues that we can talk about. And I would recommend reading the book DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Illnesses, fifth edition of it, which is published by the American Association of Psychiatry, or it was something similar name. And the different issues that a person could face depend upon their genes, they depend upon their and the environment in which they are living, depend upon other factors as well. And the common issues that my work is focused on are depression and anxiety, and to spread awareness about them. So have you ever read, or have you ever come in contact with these topics anyhow?
Yeah, like I always like to read, so I read some of these topics related to mental health. And I myself, like, I'm trying to start a business and manage my own life, so I have to do it in real life.
Okay.
So the next
So
question, yeah,
how do you manage your mental health?
it's like, okay, number one, I read a lot because reading gives you new ideas and gives you new perspectives on other people's experiences and lives. Also, you try to stay positive and avoid negative feelings and negative thoughts. You always focus on your goal and try to be goal oriented and objective oriented. You focus on dividing your, let's say, your work or your achievements in steps or in parts. So you achieve a part and then you feel better and you achieve the next part. So it's piece by piece, not by a long range, because in the long range there's a long period and then your feelings can fluctuate, but with a step by step you can build a positive feeling about yourself. Do you think this is a good answer?
Yes, that is. I would say that this is a little bit of an informed approach, but when it comes to actually being mentally healthy, then your happiness or your peace of mind does not depend on your productivity as well. So, being mentally healthy is actually having your mental state independent of anything else. Like if you are not achieving your goals, still you will be fine on the inside. If you're not being productive, if you're not able to take those steps and achieving those small goals, and as you're talking about, like the small steps, First you focus on one step and then you go to the next step. But being truly mentally healthy would mean that even if you're not able to achieve that step, even if you're not functional, still your state of mind is okay, and you can be hopeful and look forward to the next day. That is what being truly mentally healthy means.
And how would you train your clients?
So I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist as well. I've done an internship in counseling, and I actually do assessment, that the mental status examinations and other Hamilton anxiety test, or Hamilton depression test. Those tests I'm allowed to do. I can talk to them and try to understand their state of mind, and I can do some counseling, listening to them, understanding, and putting things into perspective. But if I feel that this person needs more help, or it goes beyond my abilities, then I refer them to a proper licensed psychologist, and then the psychologist carries on from that.
And how would you decide if a person needs help or not?
So there are several things that we can see if a person needs help. So a more informed person, let's say, like if I'm much more self-aware than I was before, so I'm able to pinpoint the errors in my thought process. If I'm being too negative, if I'm feeling like uh, from morning to evening I'm being negative and I'm overwhelmingly sad. So one thing, that if you want to be really technical and specific about how to decide if a person should get help with depression, it is that if you are feeling sad persistently for a period of 2 weeks or more, so that could go into clinical depression, and that is when a person should start looking for help.
And how would people
And when
surround
it
this?
comes
Yeah, yeah.
to anxiety,
Mhm.
so anxiety, by definition of cognitive psychology, anxiety is two things. One thing is being scared of the future, and the second thing is assuming that you will not be able to deal with it if things don't go your way. You will not be able to bear the outcome. So that is anxiety. And then there are physical manifestations of anxiety and depression. For anxiety, the most common thing is palpitations, restlessness, panic attacks. For depression, it is sadness, lethargy, lack of energy, changes in sleep pattern. So a lot of different manifestations are there, and different people might react to it in a different manner.
And how would the people surrounding this person react?
So how would they react is dependent on who is surrounding that person, and unfortunately, because of the lack of awareness, usually it's not a good response or a healthy response. So when I was younger, when I was in school and I started to face these issues of depression and anxiety, so the people around me were not informed about this, let alone my family, but even the doctors that I went to were not informed about this, and they reacted in a very unhealthy manner. So that actually led to me getting worse and worse. But it was only after maybe 5 years of suffering that I actually went and got an echocardiogram done. So at that point of time, the doctors thought that there was something wrong with my heart. Maybe my bicuspid valve was not working, I had mitral valve prolapse or something. But after getting the echo test done, I got to know that physically everything is fine with my heart, there's nothing wrong. And that's when the doctor said that I have depression and anxiety. So it took me 5 years to get diagnosed, and it was because the people around were not informed. So the main motive of my channel is to change that, so that the people around a person suffering are able to help him or her out, and the person feels that they are being taken care of.
And what are your main recommendations to bring this into more awareness?
My main recommendations are that we, being the younger generation, people like us who have gone to university, who have studied in good schools and multicultural environments, in some way or the other, we do get more in terms with mental health and mental issues, but our parents are not really so well informed about this. The older generation, they need to be well informed about this. So we should make mental health a household discussion, and we should talk about things that it is just as important as your physical health. Because once a person develops depression, there can be hormonal imbalance, there can be physical reactions to it. It is as physical as it is mental. And the main thing we should understand is that it requires the same amount of effort and attention as physical health. So if a person has cancer, everybody feels bad for that person, and everybody feels bad for the family, and nobody goes to that person and says, stop being cancerous. Nobody will go to somebody with cancer and say, it's your fault, stop being cancerous. But with a person with depression has to face all of these things head on, and it becomes very unhealthy and unhelpful. So I have seen psychologists, CBT practitioners, and therapists struggle a lot with their clients and patients because their families were not helpful. Because the client has to pick himself or herself up and go out into the world and cure himself of these illnesses. Whereas if you compare even a person with common cold, the parents will come and say, do you want a cup of tea? Do you want some soup? Do you want to go to the doctor? But a person with mental illness, nobody will show that care. They will just say, oh, you are sick because of yourself. And that is what we need to change.
And what are your recommendations for a person suffering from this state?
So if a person realizes that he or she is suffering from this state, the best thing is to get professional help. If so, in many countries, the professional help, psychological therapy, go to a psychologist, go to a psychiatrist. And if it is too expensive, then there are online resources that a person can reach out to. There are Facebook groups that show great support for people who are suffering from these conditions. uh, there's like depression, the group name is depression and anxiety. Then there is the friendly mental health support hub, friendly chat, mental health matters, and mental health and unhealthy stigma. So you can go to Facebook groups and you can contact people. There are people who are ready to listen. So be expressive is what is important. Don't let your emotions be suppressed. You express them and try to get help as much as possible. Take care of yourself and realize that you are not wrong. It is right thing, it is the best thing that you can do for yourself is take care of your mental health. So that is my recommendation. Take care of yourself and ask for help.
Yeah, that is awesome. What else would you like to say?
I would like to say that we, being the younger generation, we should be putting in more effort into spreading the word about mental health. And as I have suffered because of being ill informed, I really would like others not to suffer. And ever since I took some therapy, and I'm even right now I'm on some medication, antidepressants. So depression and anxiety, it can be recurrent. So once if you have taken your medication, you have taken intervention, you are fine, but then your mind can go back into bad habits. So in order to understand what is happening, I can tell you that according to cognitive psychology, depression happens because of having two things. One thing is cognitive distortions. So that means me expecting something from life that I'm not getting. So it can be anything. It can be a very basic thing like I expect my friends to give me time, but they are not giving me time. I expect my friends to listen to what I have to say, but they're not listening. So this creates issues for me. So I wouldn't say that you should not listen to your friend. Of course, you should listen to your friend, but then I need to be strong enough that if a friend is not listening, it shouldn't affect me. It shouldn't make me sick in myself. So So taking care of this cognitive distortion, making ourselves stronger. So this is what is understanding mental health is there. And we should understand that we all have cognitive distortions and we also have traumatic experiences. So I don't mean to say that only cognitive distortions are responsible, but a person does have traumatic experiences also. So we need to process through those experiences and grow up and become wiser. And that's how we get mentally healthier. So a person who is a teenager or in the early 20s, usually they have a lot of cognitive distortions. And as we get older, and if we have the advantage of professional help, that is when we get healthier.
Yeah, it has been awesome talking to you, Marziya. These great suits and important for the older and younger generations. I really appreciate your time and these great insights.
And another thing that I learned through therapy is to give myself priority and to give to take care of myself on a daily basis. So previously, I used to be a very motivated person and a very ambitious person, and I used to work myself into the ground. Like I used to get fever, and I used to have digestive issues, and I used to be like, no, it's fine, I just want to work for my goal. And that's when I used to suffer. So right now, instead of that, I am much more aware of my own physical level of health. And if I feel that something is too much for me, I stop, I take a break, I take care of myself. And once I'm feeling better, that's when I get back to it. So this is the awareness that we all should have. And we all should know our own physical limits. And it is nothing wrong with being a physically weak person. So, and another cognitive distortion is that we compare ourselves to others. So if I'm working 8 hours a day and someone else is managing 12 hours a day, so I think that I am insecure, or maybe I am lesser than that person. But we need to get over these insecurities, and we need to accept ourselves, and we need to look after ourselves depending on what is our level of health. That is what I have learned.
Yeah, that has been amazing. Thank you so much, Marziya.
You're welcome. It was really nice of you to take my interview, and it is really nice to have someone listen. So I really hope that this video spreads more, and people, anybody out there who's watching, you can reach out to me on my Facebook page. I will try my best to help you. I recommend watching Katie Morton, who's a psychologist and a therapist. I recommend watching her videos. She is really good in spreading awareness. Then there's Dr. Ramini on YouTube. All of these people, they're actually working to spread the word, and I want to do the same and actually have an impact where it is needed. And thank you very much, Nour, for this, for giving me so much time.
Yeah, good luck with this fantastic journey. Thank you once more.
Thank you.